Journey is an indie adventure game by thatgamecompany and Sony, in which you play the role of a hooded red figure and are tasked with travelling through the desert towards an ever-looming mountain in the distance. The game first came out in 2012. That's 8 years ago, but my first playthrough of the game was last week. And I've got to say, it surpassed all of my expectations. The feeling this game gives you is like pretty much nothing else I've experienced. So without further ado, I'm just going to give you my thoughts as to why I think this game is so incredible. This game is the epitome of short but sweet. It's only 2 hours long, and yet I think it's probably the best example of a game that tells its story by utilising the video game format to its full capacity. The story of Journey isn't just reflected in the game's cutscenes, but within the gameplay as well. It was created with the intention of stirring a sense of smallness and awe within the player, something which it's able to do with great success thanks to an accumulation of aesthetics, game mechanics, and level design. As its name implies, Journey's underlying theme is about the cycle of life. I know, it's very deep and profound and also very deep. This theme is echoed through the way the game is structured and paced. You begin Journey as just a lonely nomad, standing on top of a sand dune, staring up at a large mountain in the distance. The game's early levels are pretty gentle, allowing you to come to terms with the minimalistic control system. You can jump, you can move, and you can call. That's it. Throughout the game, you collect pieces of scarf which accumulate around your neck, improving your ability to move around each level. This control system works perfectly when keeping the game flowing, and it's unobtrusive so it doesn't detract from the atmosphere of the game. The landscape in these early levels is intriguing enough to draw you in, and as you continue through the next few levels, the world becomes more expansive, with more space to explore, and even though the game is still linear in its progression, it still feels like you're finding your way for yourself, travelling past the beautiful ruins of a forgotten civilization. Suddenly, the pacing changes as you enter a level almost completely dedicated to sand surfing. The tone becomes more fun and easygoing as you glide through the gorgeous scenery around you. This sense of relief is brief though, and soon things take a more heavy turn. You're met with a dark underworld, and it's the first time in your journey that you feel nervous about what's ahead. The intensity of this section increases as you travel through. There are now obstacles in the form of these large guardian robots blocking your way, and you may go through a few setbacks before the game slowly starts to help you back up to the surface, readying you for a long and hard final ascent. You've finally reached the base of the mountain. The climb is slow and difficult, with a strong wind preventing you from using flying abilities you've gained along the way. As you climb, you become weaker and weaker, eventually collapsing and meeting your end. That is, until 6 white figures appear and revitalise you, allowing you to finish your journey to the peak of the mountain, where a bright and all-encompassing light surrounds you. After walking into the light, a star shoots from the top of the mountain, and the cycle starts anew. It's an incredibly clever and moving way to depict the stages of life. A wordless story that seems distant and mysterious, but in actuality tackles a theme that is relatable to each and every one of us. And speaking of each and every one of us, this game is actually co-op, but in the very simplest and purest way. There are no names, there's no way of communicating aside from strange bonging noises you make, but it works. Moreover, it means that each playthrough experience is different to the last, as who you play alongside is completely random, and I have to say, it's worth playing through alone as well. I found it quite a lot more immersive on my own, mostly down to the stunning visuals and music that accompany you as you play. Journey is a brilliant example of show not tell storytelling. I mean, there are no words in the entire thing. This makes it a more intriguing style of storytelling, as it allows each person to gather their own reading of events as they unfold. Therefore, an insane amount of effort has been put into the graphics and sound, all in an attempt to evoke a powerful emotional response from the player. Let me state a few obvious things. This game is beautiful, relaxing, and unbelievably satisfying. The sand. Ah, the sand. Even Anakin Skywalker, famous for not liking sand,
I don't like sand,
would come around after playing this game. Something about the way it reacts with your character's movement is very pleasing, and surfing down long stretches of dune is an amazing feeling, especially considering your character will sometimes just do some sweet backflips of his own volition. It's like playing the snowboarding game Steep, but on steroids. Furthermore, the way the sun reflects light leaves a constant shimmer that gives the world a magical ambience. Plus, the way they've been able to simulate wind again adds to the overall immersion. Another thing that's done really well is the use of foreground and background. They've played around with silhouetting, camera angles and colour palettes to show you the surroundings from the best possible perspective. After reaching the top of each sand dune, you're generally greeted with an absolutely breathtaking view, often accompanied by a rising and atmospheric score. The music and journey is very fluid, floating in and out at the right times to make situations feel grand or ominous, or in some cases more muted and tranquil. Sound also plays a big part in communication, as it's the only way for players to identify where each other are, as well as creatures such as these scarf whales. These guys are amazing. You know, a lot of people probably said that putting the scarf and the whale together would never work, but who's the stupid ones now? To summarise, as someone who's only played Journey for the first time recently, I would say it's still one of the most unique and engaging video game experiences that's out there. It's beautifully charming, adventurous, and it's only 2 hours long, so if you're even contemplating playing it, just do it, man, even if you have to play the phone version. Thank you so much for watching this video, and maybe subscribe if you enjoyed it. Please comment down below how much you now love sand. See you all next time. Bye.